From Showtime and A24.
What do you love most about Whitney?
Comes a new series unlike any other.
Well, where do I even start?
Academy Award winner Emma Stone.
I like how you fight for us.
Nathan Fielder.
Money doesn't really matter when it's about doing the right thing.
And Benny Safdie.
You guys are strong, right? At the end of the day, you're going to survive, right?
Next question.
New episodes of The Curse, streaming now on Paramount Plus, only with the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan.
You're finally at that hot new spot, the one your friends keep raving about, sitting across from your date. It's going...
Another round?
Really well. And that dish you've been dying to try, oh, it's headed your way. You can smell it, hear it sizzling fresh off that skillet as it comes closer, closer, and served. Go ahead, enjoy. After your phone sneaks a bite first. When you're with Amex, it's not if it's going to happen, but when. American Express. Don't live life without it. You're finally at that hot new spot, the one your friends keep raving about, sitting across from your date. It's going...
Another round?
Really well. And that dish you've been dying to try, oh, it's headed your way. You can smell it, hear it sizzling fresh off that skillet as it comes closer, closer, and served. Go ahead, enjoy. After your phone sneaks a bite first. When you're with Amex, it's not if it's going to happen, but when. American Express. Don't live life without it.
Hey you guys, it's Christine from Storyworthy. Today on the show, comedian Caroline Georges talks about getting into some trouble in Las Vegas.
And so we were just hanging out in the hotel room. Her parents were off, partying and having a good time, So we saw this guy who was really cute, and he was 26. And, and it said pretty clearly, on our profile that we were 15. And so we messaged him. But we convinced him, after chatting with him for a while, to come to meet us at the casino. He got there and he gave some excuse. I forget what. I think maybe there's something like he didn't want to park at the casino, or he was he couldn't find parking. So we got into his car. We got into this stranger's car.
Today on the show, comedian Caroline Georges talks about getting into some trouble in Las Vegas. Stay close.
Hey, this is Caroline Georges, and you're listening to Storyworthy.
Welcome to Storyworthy. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Whether you're a longtime fan of the show or a new listener, welcome to Storyworthy. I hope you guys enjoyed the show last week with comedian Cynthia Levin. Cynthia's story last week was about cheating her way through school.
Ooh.
And she and I have that in common because I cheated my way through school as well.
Yeah.
High school and college.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of that. It's just what I did.
Oh, I watched a lot of movies based on books in high school and college.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I was great well, actually, I was a reader for a production company, reading scripts and that sort of thing. And then I had to write reviews of scripts and write coverage on scripts. And it was a lot like how I wrote book reports back in the day.
That's actually very difficult, isn't it, to do that? Because I've known other people to do that. What's it called again?
Writing coverage?
Writing coverage or script breakdown? Or
It's like script breakdown. But it's basically coverage is where you read a script, and then studios or producers or whoever will pay you just to basically. It's like being a. It's essentially I had a client who was a big lawyer, and he did me a favor, and he hired me to do some freelance. What is it? Legal. Legal aid.
Sure.
What is that called?
Legal aid, or I don't know. Briefs. Statements.
Yeah, so
invoices.
Well, basically, I got to read about this case, this entertainment case, and what was going on with it. It was just people fighting over money, you know what I mean? That had to do with entertainment and stuff. And so basically, you read the breakdown of the case, you know what I mean, of evidence and that sort of thing, and then you have to rewrite it to make it simpler and easier to read and more entertaining, and stuff. And so I did that a couple of times and that sort of thing. Then he was kind of laid me off, and he was like, maybe you're not you know,
It would be hard to do. I think.
yeah.
Because you have to get through it, even if you wanted to cheat. If you're getting paid to break it down, you got to figure it out and break it down, right?
Of course. And
Yeah.
I always loved what you said. Like you made it through Los Angeles without having a real job and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I totally relate to that because I've had so many not real jobs. You know what I mean? I've always had gigs. You know, and I've
I know
always
what
had-
you mean. I know
Yeah.
what you mean. It's hard to do, but it's possible.
Yeah.
As you know. Anyway, you guys go back, listen to Cynthia Levin talking about cheating her way through school.
That's great.
It is. It's really very funny.
I'll give that a
It's
listen,
very
too.
funny.
Yeah.
But not today, you guys, because I'm here today with comedian Caroline Georges. You
Hello.
hear her voice. And Caroline Georges, man, you are very talented. And here's what you do. Here's what you did. You won Story Smash.
I did.
And the thing is, you won. And when you came in that night, you didn't even know what the topics were.
I know.
That was the craziest thing. I've never had a contestant on that was unprepared. I mean, not just unprepared, but you didn't really feel like, I felt like you didn't really know the game. And then you go on and you won.
It was so much fun.
You were great.
It was so much fun. And one thing that I think about comedy is you really have to be shameless. You really have to just lay it all out there. And I decided that was what I was going to do. And I was just going to, you know, and I mean, everybody has a lot of experiences, but a lot of people don't want to share those experiences. And, you know, even though I do try and be as open as possible, there's a lot about my family that I can't ever speak about on stage, you know, to protect my family and stuff, you know, and stuff that I wish I could do jokes about, you know what I mean? I could like talk about and stuff, but it's like, you know, to maintain like a healthy relationship, you know, I know comics, you know, who like have relationships with their families, you know, like they've had like a friend of mine, he doesn't talk to his brother anymore because he like started doing jokes about his brother, you know what I mean?
No kidding.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's so hard when, you know, you go through so much with your family but you have to keep that in the family. You know what
I mean, personal is personal.
Right.
You know, like on stage, I'll talk about my daughter, but then, you know, like in social media, I never show her picture.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, everybody has
Of
to kind of
course.
draw their own, you know.
Well, you know,
do
I've
their
had
own
some
thing.
qualms. I've had some qualms about this story, like speaking about it on stage, because it was a situation that, not to give anything away, but it was a situation that more affected the life of my friend and not me. And you know, and her life kind of changed, and she had to move on from something after that happened. And so it's like, do I have a right to speak on her life this way?
But you don't use her name, right?
No, I don't use her name, and then also like you know, our after, you know, I'll explain, you know, I'll tell the story and stuff like that. But you know, our friendship, you know, ended, you know, after this situation happened because we got into, you know, once, you know, we got in trouble.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we're going to get to your story in a second.
Of course.
The title of the episode is Trouble in Las Vegas.
Trouble in Las Vegas.
And I think a lot of people get in trouble in Las Vegas, first of
Yeah.
all, you know. I mean, I think there's a reason why those windows on the higher floors don't open.
I know. Well, beware, you know, sexual predators. What happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas.
Yeah,
You know
no
what I
kidding.
mean?
No
What
kidding.
happens- that's
Yeah,
not
it does
always
seem
true.
to be a city that attracts, you know, not only gambling addicts, but all sorts of people in transition.
Oh, sure. Well, you know, I have a client actually said something really interesting to me, not kind of recently. He was talking about how he used to be kind of a gambling addict, and he stopped gambling, but he always still liked going to strip clubs, and he sort of filled the void of that he lost with gambling by going to strip clubs. And I was like, okay, well, how explain that? And he says, there's something about doing something you know you're not supposed to do and being someplace you know you're not supposed to be that makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
And that's what gambling was to him. It was
Interesting.
him doing something he knew he wasn't supposed to be doing, and it was him, you know. And so it's like having...
Gave him power.
Exactly. And so like having like literally Las Vegas, like it's, you know, like the city of sin, like it's Sin City, you know what I mean? It's like a place to go to indulge and do bad things.
I was thinking, in fact, I tweeted last night, I tweeted something like, I bet you, or how much you want to bet that nothing has changed in Las Vegas, you know, because of the coronavirus. I wonder.
Well,
have you heard anything about that city?
Well, I haven't heard anything about Las Vegas, but I know the club that I work at. I called last night and I was like, hey, are you guys going to be closing? Like, and then you just said, and my manager was like, over my cold dead body. Like, we're not closing.
Yeah.
Like, we're not shutting down business.
Well, that's not
So-
a restaurant, though, but
No,
it is a bar, isn't it, or not?
No, they just serve water bottles for $20.
Oh, my God. So it's a strip club.
It's a strip club.
And it serves, does it really sell water bottles for $20?
Yeah, girl.
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
I know. It's so funny to me. And
How much is a Coke?
like $6.
And so, no beer, you can't have alcohol.
No.
Yeah.
No, they really can't. And, and one of the things that I came forward, I became open about being a stripper, when the Me Too movement happened.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I needed to do something for for women.
Yeah,
And
empowering.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like there is such a stigma like surrounding sex workers, surrounding strippers, and that sort of thing. And, and it's just like, you know what? I know so many strippers and sex workers who aren't fucking dumb.
Of
you know what I mean?
course.
Who are, who I know a lot of women who are sex workers who are really good moms.
Sure.
Like you could sit down and have a cup of coffee with them and talk about, parenting. You know what I mean?
I don't
And
think
it's-
there's any woman who hasn't considered it at some point.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the money. The thing is that you have to really protect yourself, and it's hard because you do have to really protect yourself. You really do, and you really have to be
exactly?
safe. Well, at the same time, like it's just like it's hard keeping clients.
But wait, when do you have to protect yourself? Are you talking about walking to and from the car? Are you talking about giving a specific dance?
physically and emotionally. You
I
have
see,
to
yeah.
protect yourself
I
physically
see.
and emotionally.
And emotionally, you mean in terms of what?
Well, I guess one way I could kind of explain it, like imagine, rejection is really hard. Rejection is a pretty hard thing to have to go through. And at a club when I'm working, it's like I face rejection. I face guys being rude, guys being dismissive, guys, kind of taking up a lot of your time without, expecting or wanting to, pay for that time,
Yeah.
and it's happening to you when you're looking your best. It's happening to me when I'm in lingerie, when I'm in heels, when I have my hair done, when I have my makeup done. It's when I'm looking my best, when I'm being rejected and when I'm being,
Wow.
And so it's like when you go through that 2-3 times a night, or if it's a busy night, like a lot, you know what I mean? More than that.
That's so interesting. So do you think that men seem like they think they have a pass because they're in a strip club, that they can be disrespectful, or that they have a power over you automatically, or they can treat
absolutely.
you a certain way because I just spent $20 on water?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like, I do think a lot of guys go into strip clubs just because they want to take out their issues on women, and it's a safe space for them to do that, for
That
sure.
sucks.
I know, it really does.
That
And
sucks. It's a safe space to do that, really.
well, I just it's one thing when men slut shame, and it's one thing when men are like, say things that are really horophobic and really, judgmental and nasty about sex workers, and dismissive and unforgiving towards sex workers.
Yeah.
That it does affect people. People want to bully people. Why are people on Twitter? You know what I mean? It's a safe space for people to go and be assholes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like people.
Yeah, but I can block people.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Now, if you're in that situation, I guess management is looking on you, like you still have to take it, as it were, or what?
Oh gosh. Well, I don't know. Honestly, like sometimes I just, Rachel D.
Yeah, sure.
Well, she and I went out one night, and we were, just having a good time. And then we met this guy, and he came over and was like, "Hi, ladies, like, can I join you?" and stuff. And we were like, "Sure, hi, how's it going?" And so we were like talking with him, and then the bars closed. And then he was just like, do you guys want to keep hanging out? I really, don't want to go home right now. And we were having kind of a nice time talking to this guy, hanging out with this guy. And so Rachel was like, "Let's go to a strip club." And then I was just like, "Let's go to my strip club." And then so he was like, with these two beautiful women, you know what I mean, wanting to take him to a strip club. And I was like, "Okay, but here's the thing. If we go, you have to get money out. You have to get money out to spend on these, on my friends." Mm-hmm. And so he's like, "Yeah, no problem. And then we get to the club, and he's like, and once we're there, he just sits down and at the stage, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to get money out."
Wow.
And I was just like,
That's gross.
I know. And then you know what I did? I know this sounds, I was like, "Dude, get out of here. you know what? You know why I brought you here. I brought you here because I thought you were going to spend money on my friends, on my coworkers, girls. You know, it was like a Monday night, you know, and it was slow. And there was like only a few girls working there, and it would have been nice for us to give each of them $20 on stage.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, and there was only like 5 or 6 girls working.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have had to.
Yeah, it was $100.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and I'm sorry, but it's just kind of like, it's amazing. Like guys like really just, you know, like.
Is there usually a cover charge as well, or?
No, they let us in for free because I worked there.
Yeah, but what about like him? Or he got in free that night.
Because I worked there.
But usually how much does it cost a guy to get into your club? Or depends on the night.
$20.
$20 to get in.
Yeah. And, but it's like, here's the thing. I had no qualms about telling that guy to get the F out of there.
Yeah, good.
And because, you know what? Me and Rachel are both really beautiful, and we were, you know, talking to him all night when he was alone in the bar.
Yeah, you gave him your time.
Exactly. And I mean, he paid for our tab and picked up our drinks and that sort of thing, which was nice. You know what I mean? And so we drank all night for free. But it's like, you know what? I'm not taking you to have a good time and to taking you into my place of work if you're not willing to.
He should not go into a strip club without some cash.
It was ridiculous. And it was just like, the situation was just like, he was like totally like, what's your problem? And it's like, you know what?
Have you ever been in a strip club? Has he never been in a strip club?
I don't know. Probably not.
Maybe that's the problem.
But yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys dumped him.
I know.
Yuck. Was he cute?
No, he was like older.
Oh.
No.
All right. Well, listen, I am super excited to talk to you. And by the way, how are you sleeping? Well?
I didn't sleep very long last night because I kind of got home kind of early in the morning.
Yeah.
I
hate not getting a good night's sleep because I got to get up. I got to make my daughter's breakfast, my daughter's lunch. I got to drive her to school. So there's a whole thing.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, it is. It's great. But I'm just saying, like, it's tough. Now, guess what? I have a new sponsor that I'm super excited about.
Actually, I'm super excited about it too. This is nice.
You can feel it, right?
Yeah,
I have them sitting right here.
Very nice.
It's called Ettitude, and what they use is clean bamboo. Have you ever heard of clean bamboo?
Never heard of it.
Well, I'll tell you something. It is the holy grail of fabric. Now, listen,
it's nice.
You've probably heard about bamboo sheets, but Ettitude's clean bamboo, they employ this revolutionary bamboo bedding technology, and it's good for you and the planet. Now, here's the thing, you guys. Ettitude sheets are feathery soft. They are so fantastic. I just got this brand new comforter cover, so it's like a duvet cover. It makes my old duvet cover, which was just cotton, it makes it feel like sandpaper. I mean, honestly, this fabric is just lovely, and now I'm getting really good sleep. And it's extremely breathable, you guys. It regulates your temperature to improve your quality of sleep. And listen, Caroline, you get to my age, and guess what happens?
What?
Night sweats.
Shit. I get night sweats.
You do already?
I sweat the bed. I sweat the bed.
You sweat the bed.
I sweat the bed.
You sweat the bed. Then you need these Ettitude sheets. Why not try Ettitude? These amazing sheets have a 30-day risk-free trial. If you're not fully satisfied, you can return the sheets for a full refund, and they even cover shipping on returns. You guys, Ettitude sheets, they are soft as silk, breathable as linen, but at the price of cotton. You are going to love them. And as you know, you guys, when you support my sponsors, then you are supporting me. So right now, you guys, Storyworthy listeners will get 20% off of your sheet set and free shipping. Just enter story at the checkout for 20% off your entire order. Now, the only way to get 20% off is to head over to Ettitude, and when you check out, put in the promo code STORY and you will get 20% off. You guys, Ettitude.com, and enter the promo code STORY. Yay! New sheets. Woo. They also have beautiful colors.
You know, that's actually, I like that. What is this?
It's like a soft green.
It's
made my whole bedroom brighter.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what
like
I mean?
a light teal. It's really nice.
That's what Alabama thinks it's blue. And I'm like, I don't think it's blue, but it's like it's between a light green and a light blue. It's very pretty. So I'm very excited. All right, you guys, listen, we're going to get to Caroline's story in just a second. Trouble in Las Vegas. I'm trying to think if I've had trouble in Las Vegas. You know, I was a flight attendant and we stayed in Vegas a lot.
Right.
So I had like my regular round of places I would go, I would jog at the UNLV track, and I would go to, it was right by the Hofbrauhaus, which was, like that German beer pub thing. And then I would go I would go gambling at Slots of Fun, which is by Circus Circus. It's like down and dirty.
Circus was the casino we stayed at.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
That was the casino.
In your story, you're at Circus Circus.
I was at Circus Circus.
God, that adds such a whole nother layer of creepiness.
Why?
Just because Circus Circus is creepy. The sign is creepy. Everything about it is creepy.
Yeah.
Circus theme is creepy.
Right.
Period. So, anyway, I'm anxious to hear your story. I'll tell
Me
you that.
too.
All right, you guys. Also, you can find me over there on all social media at Storyworthy. You know that. And then head over to Story Smash and check out the Instagram page. That's where I show all the show photos. You'll see Caroline as the winner of Story Smash. You did so well. And then you came back on. You played another round as well.
And I lost.
Yeah, well,
My downfall.
You know what? Dawn Brody just lost. She won 3 times in a row, and she lost.
I want to come back on. I want another shot.
You were so good.
I want another shot at the title.
You were great.
Yeah.
You were just great. Anyway, you guys, unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, the Improv is closed the rest of the month. You know that.
I know.
And so
everywhere is closed. The Rustic is
everything.
closed.
I know. Oh God, that's weird.
I know. I was last night. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to be locked up in my studio for 2 weeks. I need to party tonight.
So
get out of my
strange.
system.
Yeah, I went to the gym yesterday. Worked out as hard as I could because I knew now my gym is closed.
I know. Shoot.
Anyway, these are strange times.
They are.
So thank you for
we should
coming
plan
over.
a girls' night for quarantine. We should do something for quarantine.
A quarantine party.
Yeah,
we'll make quarantines.
That would be fun. Oh, quarantinis. Yeah. Ooh, that does sound like fun. That does
All right,
sound like
you guys.
fun.
Caroline,
I could hang out with your cat.
Caroline Georges is here right now. She is a comedian, like I said. And you also have a very successful vlog on YouTube called Manic Pixie Dream Vlog.
Yeah.
Which is adorable.
Yes.
And you do those on camera, as it were. I mean, it's a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Thank you.
I'm impressed with it. Yeah,
really?
you've been doing it quite a while as well, haven't you? A couple years.
Yeah, I started, like 2 years.
Yeah, because I watched one from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You guys can find her over there, like I said, on YouTube at Manic Pixie Dream Vlog, and also on Instagram at Caroline_Lydia_Rose, and on Twitter at George's Caroline. By the way, you don't tweet, and you should.
I don't tweet, and you're right. I do. I should because
you're funny. You're self-deprecating. You'd be great on Twitter.
Really, I need to do that. I need to go on
It's
Twitter.
fun.
I'll download the app before I leave here today.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, whoever you are, put your hands together for Caroline Georges.
Woo! So basically, when I was 15, my best girlfriend, and I don't know, let's give her a name. Can we give her a name?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give her a real name, but let's give her a name. How about
Let's call her Trixie.
Trixie? Yeah. So Trixie. So my best girlfriend in high school was Trixie, and so she and I, loved getting into trouble. You know what I mean? Like, I think, before this happened, she and I got in touch with one of her brother's friends, and we convinced him to come over and pick us up and take us, driving around and that sort of thing. And so we, just, sat in the back seat with her, brother driving us, and we just, kind of drove around. And then we went to, this skate park where, all of these people were, kind of skating at night, and we just kind of went and hung out with them and stuff like that. And, we were, 14 at the time. So we just, but it's, a small...
Teenage stuff.
Yeah, but it's, we lived in a really small town where there really wasn't a lot to do. And it wasn't... They really didn't... I don't know, it was just there really wasn't much to do. You know what I mean? That was the thing. And one thing I think was so great, maybe even for your daughter growing up in Los Angeles, is that there are a lot of,
there's
stuff.
Choices, yeah.
There's choices.
And there's coffee shops now.
There's coffee shops and stuff, and there's activities, and there's, communities and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of ways, kids can get, plugged
stimulated
in. Without
making bigger mistakes like we used to.
Exactly. But me and Trixie didn't, really have those options and stuff. So, but her family really liked Las Vegas, and they went on a trip to Las Vegas every year. They were pretty wealthy. And so one day she just came and asked me, she was like, I'm going to Las Vegas with my family, and we want to ask you if you would want to come with us, because I'm not going to have anything to do, and I want to bring a friend and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And so it was just this all expense paid trip to Las Vegas.
Where were you living at the time?
Juneau, Alaska.
Yeah, in Alaska. That's where you're from.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. And it was just 30,000 people, and it's you can only get in by boat or plane. There's no roads leading out of it, and it's surrounded by woods and ocean.
Wow.
I know. And so it's one of Juneau actually has one of the high it's like if a tsunami hits Juneau, Alaska, it's like it's over for everyone. You know what I mean? And so it's like, and they do have like a high risk of like a tsunami hitting. So it's kind of scary, actually.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, so it's actually sort of like, it's a sort of like, it's like waiting for like a volcano to erupt. You know what I mean? Almost. So that's Juneau, Alaska. But I got to go on a trip, on an all expense paid trip to Las Vegas with my best girlfriend, and and we were just going to go live it up in Las Vegas. And so we went to Las Vegas, and lo and behold, I mean, it's like, bells and whistles and all the shiny lights and that sort of thing. That's exciting. But then the novelty wore off, and it's like, oh, there's actually really nothing to do because we're not 21 and we can't get into anywhere. Because
we can go to the pool.
We can go to the pool. We could eat at McDonald's, or like one of those little, like the casino has like all those little fast food places. We could eat at McDonald's. We could eat at, and we could, but there really wasn't much to do. So we were just like, for the most part, we were just like hanging out in this hotel room running movies. And so we were just hanging out in the hotel room. Her parents were off, partying and having a good time, and I'm starting to realize, like, my generation, like, I don't know if this is how things were for you, but I kind of was raised, like, I feel like people of my generation, like, grew up watching rated R movies really young, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, helicopter parenting is sort of a new thing.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like,
they were more permissive.
Yeah, exactly. Like, kind of people, like, let kids do whatever they wanted and stuff like that. Like Sally Draper and Mad Men, you know what I mean? How she really wasn't being raised by anybody.
Yeah.
And how she, and that sort of thing. And so it's like, that was sort of how my mom was raised. My mom wasn't, didn't really have, active parents in her life. And so I didn't really have active parents in my life, so it's like, I grew up watching rated R movies at a really young age. And I feel like a lot of people of my generation did grow up that way. And now they're moving on to being like, to helicopter parenting, because they were raised, sort of the opposite. You know what I mean?
I think that's true. I think that's probably very accurate.
I know, exactly. And so it's like, so that's the response. And then, I don't know, like, even my sister, and my mom talks about, like, my mom really criticizes my sister with how, like, hands-on and involved she is in her son's life. You know what I mean?
She doesn't think she needs to be?
No, exactly. So my mom is just like, I FaceTime my mom, and she's babysitting my nephew. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, where's my nephew? She's like, oh, I don't know. I saw him playing on the stairs. And it's like, Mom, you can't let a 2-year-old play on the stairs by himself. And she's like, he'll be fine. And it's just like, and then, he needs to learn. He needs
No.
He needs to learn that, like, if you play on the stairs, you're going to fall and hit your head. You know what I mean? There's no other way to teach him that lesson besides letting it happen to him. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like that. But then
that's hilarious.
But then my sister is like, super hands-on.
Of course.
Yeah. And so it's just like the difference in parenting styles, I guess. Or
the kid has a leash on with your sister. Yeah. And then with your mom, they just open the door and let him out.
I know, exactly. Exactly. Anyways, so Mimi and I'm trying to explain, like, because I just don't want people to think like this, like, that's crazy that you guys were just left to your own devices in Las Vegas. But really,
it's not. I mean, in other words, like, well, it is, and it is, and it isn't, because it was a new city. You didn't, but the idea was to bring you along so that you had one another.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like there just to keep her company. You know what I mean, and to keep her entertained. And
okay, so what happened?
Well, we went on MySpace. Like, MySpace was really big at the time, and I was like, and so we were on MySpace, and we were just kind of like, let's just talk to guys. Let's meet guys and stuff. And, so like, and you could look and search for local people and stuff in Las Vegas. And then so we saw this guy who was really cute. And so we messaged him and just said, hi. Like, I know this sounds sort of crazy, but it really was coming from a place of total ignorance and naivety that we were doing this.
Well, sure, you were a child. You were 14.
Exactly.
15.
Exactly. And so it's kind of like with my nephew playing on the stairs and my mom, like, letting him, because he needs to hit his head on the stairs to learn that, to learn that the stairs, can be dangerous and that sort of thing. And so it's like, but at the same time, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like this high risk behavior, like I just didn't have the reality of consequences in my mind or in my peripheral at all. And so we started talking to this really cute guy on MySpace, and he was 26. So he was young, he was like a young guy and stuff, but at the same time, like an adult. And it said pretty clearly, on our profile or like on my profile, her profile, or whoever's MySpace we were using, like that we were 15 and our age was listed on MySpace and stuff. And so, but we convinced him after like chatting with him for a while to come to meet us at the casino and just hang out with us. You know what I mean? And so he agreed, you know what I mean? So we were so excited. I remember we took forever to get ready. We just we put on so much makeup, and we just, and were you going to go just downstairs to the casino, or were you going to go exactly? You were going to go you weren't leaving the casino. You didn't know at that point. No, we weren't leaving the casino. Yeah. We were going to stay at the casino. Yeah. So we went downstairs to meet him, all dolled up, looking like, pretty baby, and Lolita, or taxi driver, Jodie Foster taxi driver.
How did you know it was him? Do you recognize him?
Yeah, he looked like his photo. It was definitely him. It's not. The thing is, he wasn't out there fishing for us. You know what I mean? We were out there looking for him. And so, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, it was just sort of like one of those things where it was just how we were coming across to him. We were the ones that were being flirtatious. We were the ones that were batting our eyelashes and trying to get this guy to come and give us attention. Yeah. And he agreed. And so we were going to meet at the casino. And so then he got there and he gave some excuse. I forget what. I think maybe there was something like he didn't want to park at the casino, or he was he couldn't find parking, or I don't know what it was. So, but he was we wanted to eat. So he said well, we could just, go to Chili's. And Chili's was actually a very exotic, restaurant to two 15-year-old girls in buttfuck Juneau, Alaska. You know what I mean? That was definitely I do joke about I really was gonna risk death and danger for potato skins. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because
for a bloomin' onion.
I know, they're so good. They're so good, and I would do it again. I would do it again, Christine. I regret nothing. But so we got into his car. We got into this stranger's car. And
were you both in the back seat, or?
We were both in the back seat. And so we just, and then I don't know how, somehow it was decided that we weren't going to go to Chili's and that we were going to go back to his apartment. Wow. And so we go back to his apartment, and so we get there, and there was porn DVDs, he had so many porn DVDs just out lying around. Yeah. And it was just I know this was kind of back in the time before maybe internet porn was a thing or was as big as a commodity as it is, but he had a lot of these porn DVDs. And then he had posters of Jenna Jameson on his wall and that sort of thing. So yeah, he was definitely a very sexed up person, you know what I mean?
It's disturbing.
And, yeah, exactly. And I don't know, it's just sort of it's who he is. But it was sort of something about it was sort of I don't know.
Did you guys want to turn around and say we got to go, or how far were you at this point from the Strip where you were staying?
It was an apartment complex. I don't know how far away it was. It wasn't far.
Yeah, it was in town.
Yeah, it wasn't far. And then also when you look on MySpace, it's people in your immediate area. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't terribly far. And but once we were there, and then I was sort of scandalized seeing all of these porn DVDs and being in this guy's home, and all of a sudden he kind of ceased to be this cute guy on MySpace, and all of a sudden he seemed kind of dangerous to me, and so we all went back to his room, and we sat on his bed, and we were talking and just kind of goofing around with him, I guess, and then he I don't really know how it led up to it, but he basically turned to me, leaned over to me, and he and I were shoulder to shoulder. And his face was really close to my face. And I knew he was going to try and kiss me. And so I pulled away and I said, "Oh, I've never been kissed before." And that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I lied. I remember that. Like I remember I like lied defensively, to protect myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting.
I know. And so and he backed off. You know what I mean? I said the right thing and he backed off. You know what I mean? And then my friend and him started kissing, and they started kissing pretty passionately, and and it was kind of like they were starting to get busy, and I felt uncomfortable, and so I felt like I should leave, and so I left the room and waited on the couch, and while he had sex with my friend, and and she and I weren't like virgins, you know what I mean? It's not like, but at the same time, it's just there was something really disturbing about that situation.
Yeah, no kidding.
For sure. And so they came out and he drove us back to the casino, and, easy peasy, whatever. And so the second I got home and my mom picked me up at the airport, I turned to her and I told her everything.
Wow.
And this was my mom is a little narcissistic. She's kind of she has a way of spinning things to make it about her.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I told my mom I wanted to go off birth control, and she was just like, "Caroline, if you get pregnant, it'll ruin my life."
Wow.
I know. And I was
so
like,
you didn't tell the girl's parents. You didn't tell Trixie's parents.
No. I didn't say anything to them.
Did he just drop you guys off at the casino?
Yep.
And you just walked out of there?
Uh-huh.
And then how was your friend at that point?
Things were really tense, and she and I started fighting a lot after that. She and I, it made things really tense, and neither of us were really happy with that situation, and really understood that situation. And so I remember she and I started fighting like cats and dogs after that happened. So for the rest of the trip, she and I were like fighting we were just bickering the rest of the trip. And like a dark cloud kind of like came over our friendship after that situation happened. And so I went home. And told
your mom. Yeah.
I told my mom, and then my mom said this. She said, "Oh my gosh, so like I conceived you, I carried you in my body for 9 months, I raised you, I fed you, I was on welfare for you. What I had to do to make sure you were happy and healthy for 15 years, and you're gonna go and get into a stranger's car in Las Vegas. That's what you're gonna do to me."
Wow.
So she kind of made it.
Mom. Oh my
I know.
gosh.
So she kind of made it a little bit about her.
That's terrible.
It was like an offense to her that I would be so unsafe. And maybe she's not necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was just like she was like I was squandering her investment.
So then what? What is the fallout of all this?
She and my mom. I told my mom, and my mom told Trixie's parents.
Wow.
What happened? Trixie got into a fuck ton of trouble.
Wow.
And it was Trixie was still a cheerleader. I wasn't cheerleading anymore, but she was still cheerleading, and her parents wouldn't let her go on any more trips with the she was like,
I
no.
bet.
And so it was just and so Trixie was just kind of like, you know what, we needed to keep this a secret. This is what we were supposed to not tell anybody about this. Look what you did to me and how you affected me in my life. I wasn't going to say anything. You had no right to say anything, just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And it was just like,
did you want your mom to tell Trixie's parents?
No. Honestly, I didn't know what was going to happen or how people were going to respond. But but I was really spooked, and I was really my feathers were very ruffled from that situation.
You have to say something. If you had buried that would be.
Oh yeah,
you know,
of course.
And so did that guy ever face any charges, any ramifications?
No.
Nobody. He never got busted.
No,
that sucks. That sucks.
Well, you know, the situation is that, you know, it was.
He knew it doesn't matter if you girls were being complacent or you were part of it. You guys are knuckleheads. You're children. You're 15. He knew that.
You know, I worked when I was 14. I had an after-school job at a movie theater, and our manager was very inappropriate. Was very, very inappropriate.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and you know, and so I was working with this other girl, and this other girl, her mom worked in the office at the movie theater. She was like the person that did all the paperwork and the accounting for the movie theater, right?
Yeah.
And so when we started complaining about how inappropriate this manager was being with us, like for example, like the girl I worked with, she was 15, I was 14, right? He was like, we were in the office with him together, and he was like, it'd be so cool if you guys started making out right now.
Oh God!
Like this, like 40-year-old man to like a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
He was so inappropriate. He was so disgusting. He was so disgusting. He got me high once. He gave me weed once. Like, you know, like that sort of thing.
14-year-old.
Yeah, he was disgusting. Oh, he was absolutely disgusting. And but when the girl whose mom worked in the office, when we started complaining, and then the mom found out, her response was, "What are you doing that this guy is talking to you that way?"
Yeah.
It was like that. She was just like,
oh my God.
I mean,
I get it. That's just so upsetting.
Just that whole boys will be boys mentality.
Ugh.
Men are going to be men mentality, and women have a responsibility to, you know, I don't know, like
still be subservient or still be of service or something.
Yeah. And if, you know, that whole, like, you were asking for it. And in the situation with the Las Vegas, like the guy in Las Vegas, I mean, we were messaging him on MySpace. We were telling him to come meet us in Las Vegas.
But you're still children.
Yeah, I know exactly. But
yeah, it terrifies me. My daughter, like, I feel like I'm doing the right things, but you just never know what's going through her mind because she's 13, and so I can, like, you know, her mood swings and, you know, up and down, and I think I know what's going on, but I know that there's more challenges ahead. It's just so it's scary. So your parents, do they worry about you now?
My parents?
Yeah. I mean, they know what you do. They know you dance.
Yeah.
Are they worried?
You know, I was always really wild, and they, you know, when they found out, I had one of my friends, another friend from high school, and she like went into the military. I went into, doing like, living a bohemian lifestyle in LA. Mm-hmm. So she and I kind of parted ways after high school and lived different lives, but both she and I both stripped, just never together.
Yeah.
She became a stripper, while she was in the military, and I became a stripper, while I was doing what I was doing. And then she and I got into a really big fight, and then she lashed out at me by reaching out to my mom and my dad on Facebook, and she told them that I was a stripper. So I really didn't have a choice.
That is so unbelievable.
But when that happened, I was so worried how they were going to respond. But they really, my mom just said, you know what, you've always, had that kind of personality, and you've always been really wild. So it's actually, I'm really not surprised. You know what I mean? It doesn't surprise me. And she just, says, I'm proud of you for supporting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm proud of you for being independent.
And they know that you're strong. You have a really good head on your shoulders.
Exactly.
I mean, you're very bright. You're obviously very bright.
Right.
It's really funny, Caroline, when you're on stage, like during Story Smash, you'd be telling, a story, and on one hand, you have this character about you that kind of sounds goofy or sounds airheadedness, but then you turn around and you quote, you quote like a great thinker. You quote, did you quote Plato or Socrates? You quoted somebody during Story Smash. We're all like, Jesus. And I go, she's smart. And Danny Zucker goes, oh yeah, she's real smart. Like, it's interesting. You have like a dynamic going on that, I'll tell you, I would never underestimate you.
Well, I feel like with stripping, and I bring this to comedy, creating a persona that you can kind of hide behind, you know what I mean, actually really helps you perform, I think. And
Because
so,
it gives you like a false confidence or what?
well, it's when I try and put on that whole stripper persona because that's who I am, you know what I mean? And so it's like, and I am fun and I am wild and I am, very vivacious, and I'm not lying or acting or pretending. I just kind of turn up the volume on all of that when I'm on stage,
It's so smart.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, but then also, being, I don't know, like I do have a degree in an education.
Right.
And so it's just like, it's always really bizarre to me, like some of the judgment I face from people, in comedy and that sort of thing. It's like, dude, like, raise your hand if you have a degree. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And
Like,
you
think, you're going to give me shit for being a stripper. Raise your hand if you have a degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Please.
You don't even have a degree, dude.
Yeah.
I have a degree.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And it's like, not that it makes you better, but it's just like,
No, but it says that you've been through things, you have stick-to-itiveness, you have fortitude, and you're responsible and independent. Do you ever go back to Alaska?
no, weddings and funerals, and that's it.
Yeah, I would understand that. And because it is really isolated, I guess is the word.
Right. It is very isolated.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, listen, I am so happy that you came and talked to me today. I think you're fascinating, and I definitely will have you back on Story Smash.
Oh, I would love that.
You were so fun. You were just great. You guys can find more out about Carolyn over on her YouTube channel. Like I said, it's the Manic Pixie Dream vlog and podcast. And you can just type in Caroline Georges in the YouTube search engine. And you can also find her over there on Instagram at Caroline_Lydia_Rose. Where does that come from? Caroline.
I have two middle names. When
Lydia
you grow,
Rose?
Yeah, when you grow up white trash, they try and spice up your life a little bit by giving you a lot of names.
That's really
So
funny.
my sister and I both have three names.
That's so funny.
I know. So a lot of people thought my last name was Rose, and it's not. It's my middle name.
Interesting.
Yeah, my mom. So Caroline and Lydia are two family names on my mom's side.
They're both pretty names.
Yeah, and then Rose, my mom, the nurse that my mom had when she was giving birth to me.
Yeah.
After my mom gave birth, the nurse went and she got my mom a milkshake and brought it to her.
And her name was Rose?
And her name was Rose. And
That is so
And then my
sweet.
mom tagged Rose onto my
Wow,
my
your
name
mom is easy.
because of the nurse that brought her a milkshake.
Well, thank God the janitor didn't bring her a bidet or something. Because who knows what your name would be.
I know.
think that's a cute story. That's really a cute story. Do you like roses by any chance? Did you pick up on that in life in terms of like rose tattoos?
Everyone loves
or-
roses.
I think yeah, I know, but I mean like rose tattoo or a rose, stuff like that.
I've never really wanted a tattoo. I guess that's one of the things that goes against type with the stripper thing. I've never been about tattoos.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and then not for me.
Yeah,
I like
I
them.
get
I
it.
like them on other people.
Yeah.
But roses. I don't know. I guess like researching them or like what they mean and like how they're symbolized in like literature and stuff. Like I think Shakespeare was who made roses like the symbol of passion and stuff. Because and they and so that they have like the texture of it like feels like soft skin,
It's like velvet, yeah.
soft skin, and then like I love the whole like the thorny
Yeah, in other words, it's like the thorny bit to take to get to the pretty bit.
Yeah,
as it were.
exactly. Yeah.
That's
So
a
it's
good little
just-
metaphor.
Yeah, they
I
are.
like that.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, one more time on behalf of the very talented Caroline Georges, thank you so much.
Thank you. I had a great time as always, Christine.
And I want to thank the sponsors on the show today. Really, you guys, when you support my sponsors, then you are supporting me. Thank you. Head over to editude.com, you guys, and use the promo code STORY to get 20% off the softest sheets you'll ever own.
I'm feeling these right now. It is actually very nice.
really
It
nice.
It's very soft.
All right, you guys, my name is Christine Blackburn saying, make it a story-worthy week.
Thanks for joining us on the Storyworthy Podcast. We'll be back next week with all new stories. Subscribe to Storyworthy on iTunes and visit the Storyworthy website at storyworthypodcast.com.
Your plans? Today it's dinner with the parents at your spot.
We gotta come back here.
Now, their spot. Or you're on the edge of your seat at the game.
Come on, just one time.
And it's the one. Or maybe you're catching the next flight to...
Now boarding flight 1850.
Oh, that's you. The choice is yours. And when you're with Amex, it's not if it's going to happen, but when. American Express. Don't live life without it.
Who's been perfecting small batch sausage for over 30 years? Uncle Charlie's. Whose delicious grillers are always fresh, never frozen? Uncle Charlie's. Who only uses 80% lean pork for superior taste and premium quality, whether you grill it, smoke it, or fry it? Uncle Charlie's. Okay, which sausage do Pittsburgh grill masters count on to impress friends and family? Yep, Uncle Charlie's. Available at your local grocer. Uncle Charlie's. Small batch, huge taste.